Good morning from the beautiful Bucharest, Romania.
Today we're here in Revolution Plaza. This is where the end of communism took place in the late 80s. And today we're going to be looking at some of the more cultural stuff here, the historical sites, the museums, and a lot of local cuisine, so stay tuned.
One of the toughest choices you will have to make while in Bucharest is deciding where to eat. This city has a ton of restaurants and it's truly difficult to decide on just one.
So you see a lot of the rainbow umbrellas on Instagram in cities all over the world, but here particularly in Bucharest. And the reality is it's not that exciting. If you look over there and over there are really the only two spots where those umbrellas are, and the rest is like this gap of graffiti.
Look behind you.
What this is, a subway station.
So realities versus expectation, Bucharest edition. So
try to keep your expectations low and your excitement high.
Revolution Square in Bucharest is the heart of Romania's 1989 uprising. Right before us stands the iconic Memorial of Rebirth. It commemorates the struggles and the victims of the revolution. One of the first galleries on our list was to check out the Gallery of Romanian Old Art. When we were there, I guess they were having a special exhibit of religious art, and I have to say these were some of the most beautiful icons and sculptures I've ever seen. And right across you will find the Gallery of European Art. Not only were the art pieces incredible here, the building itself was just a work of art. I definitely see why people call Romania the Paris of the East. The architecture here, the art, the food, everything was just incredible. You also get to explore a few rooms of the Royall Palace of Bucharest.
So for about $12, that museum was totally worth it. We had 4 exhibits, and the first one was, it was like the Art Institute or the Art Gallery for Romania. And the second one was for Europe. Then the third one was a palace, and then there was some special exhibit as well thrown in there for like Orthodox icons and stuff. But it was definitely worth the $12. The other thing that's awesome about museums in general is that if you're here when it's raining or when the weather's bad, maybe it's too cold and you want to take a break, those are always a great place to stop by, because not only are the buildings beautiful, but you also get a really cool sense of what the history of that place was like.
We spent a few hours exploring the museum, so now it was time to find and explore some more Romanian food. So one of the things I noticed about Romanian food, it is very hearty. Like, it's very meat-based, it's sauce-based, there's potatoes, there's veggies, but it's very heavy. And the portion sizes, I prefer like smaller portion sizes, but here, and I noticed in like Central and Eastern Europe, the portion sizes are just massive. But the one thing I love about Romania so far is their cocktail game is very good. So if you like cocktails, you will not be disappointed. Food in Romania, 10 out of 10. And somehow we still had room for dessert.
So what does a Romanian donut actually taste like? Let's find out.
I didn't even know this was a thing till 3 days ago.
Oh.
I think you may need to use a knife.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Is it better than the Dunkin' Donuts?
I don't even think these people know what Dunkin' Donuts is. You don't need one when you have these kinds of things, because they're like funnel cake. Imagine if funnel cake was a ball. It was warm or hot. It's got this sort of cream cheese on there and jam, powdered sugar. Perfect.
So far, the tickets for everything are very affordable.
Yeah, I mean, these each were only $2, so I'm not entirely sure what the tickets are for. It looks like we're here to visit the actual place itself, but I actually think we ended up getting tickets to a concert by accident. So, so this is what happens when you don't speak the language, right? But that's part of travel. So right here it says the Philharmonic George Enescu. I guess that's the name of the Philharmonic Orchestra, but these tickets show us where our seats are. And I don't think we're gonna stick around for a concert.
Too long, but
at least we're just gonna browse around and show you the rest of the building.
The concert hall can accommodate 600 people, and it is renowned for its outstanding acoustics. It's such a shame. There's so many amazing like abandoned buildings like this here. This is right in the city center. If anybody needs a house, come to Romania and remodel this beauty. You have your own courtyard. Oh my God. Comes with at least 5 ghosts.
Habibi, come to Bucharest. All right, so we're just wandering around the city once again. We don't have a lot to do right now, and we came across another church. And every time we look into these churches, they seem to be used by people, like in the way of there's always a wedding going on. This looks like a baptism of some kind. So they're not empty. People actually do go to them from time to time. So
this is like the 20th one alone in the city center.
Every time we come across another one, there's always people inside, and they're always being used.
One of the cool things I noticed, all the churches here have like a plot of land, even though it's right in the city center. It's crazy packed, but you can see around me, there's just like a lavender garden, rose garden, and it's right in the city center, surrounded by trees. But the church has kind of its own little sanctuary, and it makes sense.
The weirdest equivalent to this that we've seen somewhere else was in Japan.
Yeah.
A lot of the temples and shrines, they also have a little plot of land, kind of like a mansion would have. Where they have like flowers and things like that. So,
but it's very peaceful because you can walk down the street, you can have gelato, drinks, restaurants. Then you literally step a few feet and you're in this kind of tranquil, relaxing. There's lavender place and there's music sometimes from the church. You have like the organ playing. It's very nice. It's a very well balanced city so far. Minus the graffiti. I could go without the graffiti.
We've been walking for about 20 or 30 minutes now. And we've been on one street the entire time, and there are people everywhere, thousands and thousands of people. I think this is something that they do every week, where they kind of block off one street so that people can walk up and down, check out the local businesses and things like that.
Or maybe there's a festival, I don't know.
Yeah, and it makes it very pedestrian friendly. So if you're coming here and you really just want to walk for a little while, this is a great little spot.
I mean, you get to see what the locals do, where they're eating, and just kind of enjoy the shops, street performers. It's really nice. There's like street vendors. So let's see what we can find. Can you imagine living in this building? Oh my God. How many apartments do you think there are there?
At least 1,000, I guess. I mean, look at this. And this is just the front of this. I'm guessing this whole building goes back for probably a block.
There's another one right behind you.
And these are just two. There are like hundreds of those buildings all throughout the city.
I mean, I can definitely see how there's 1.8 million people living here. After walking about 16,000 steps, we decided it was time to relax, grab some beer, watch the street performers, and just relax. Does anyone else encounter this problem? That you want to adopt every single cat that you see, or is it just me? After a long day of walking, we found a really cute rooftop bar in Old Town called Nomad Bar. We decided to catch a sunset here with a few drinks and a few bites. We just had amazing drinks at an amazing rooftop bar. So everything we do is always linked down below underneath the video in the description box with a Google Maps link. So if you want to recreate some of the stuff we do in our trips, you have that too. But I wanted to add something. Bucharest has a ton of restaurants, and I feel like there's not even enough demand for it, because we've been here for this is the third night, and the restaurants are usually more than half empty. And I just think like they're ready for tourists. There's a lot of remodeling. You'll see a ton of construction when you come here. So I feel like this is one of those up and upcoming cities. Is that how you would say?
Yeah, I would say an up and coming city.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the restaurants aren't expensive. The weather's amazing. So it isn't like, you know, these kinds of places are obscure. You can go to where all of the people are hanging out, all of the locals are hanging out, and you can basically grab any restaurant without a reservation. At least that's been our experience so far.
Unless the one we went to last night, which was meh, which I wouldn't recommend. But yeah, so far there's a ton of restaurants, and if you check on Google Maps or TripAdvisor or whatever you use, all the restaurants will have above 4 stars, like usually above 4.4. Like the bar we just went to had like over 5,000 reviews, 4.4 stars. So it's pretty impressive. The food is good, the service is excellent. Keep in mind, they do tip here. So I know there's this thing like, oh, Europeans don't tip. There's a lot of places, a lot of countries in Europe we've been to where they usually do expect about a 10 to 15% tip. So keep that in mind.
Also in Italy, they may not tip, but they do add an additional surcharge for just sitting at the table, called the coperto.
Usually it's between 150 to, I've seen, €4 per person.
So Europeans do tip, they just do it in different ways.
Yeah, so keep that in So of course we couldn't leave Bucharest without stopping by at Luca. I kept seeing this show up a few times. I see locals go there. It's like a pastry shop slash, what would you call it?
It's like a little bakery. So we grabbed one of these ham and cheese ones, I think, and then one of these apple strudel ones. So let's go give it a shot.
They're also warm, so they're not cold, so they're freshly made. There was already a line this morning, so there's like a constant flow of people.
They're like a really long, flaky donut. Very delicious, very sweet, at least the one that I got.
So these are about $1, and this is what you get for $1, so about 5 lei. I went with the traditional Luca. Let's see if it tastes good. So this is meat and cheese. It's so hot. Very good. We had a few hours before our flight, so we explored the city some more. Not a huge fan of mugs, but this one looks so cute. This is definitely more of a night city and not a very early morning city. For our last meal, we decided to stop by at Ciorbe și Plăcinte. I really hope I pronounced that right. Here you can get some amazing Romanian soup for a great price. So this is, I think, the tripe soup, right? What did you get?
Borscht.
That's borscht? No way.
That's
I
what
didn't know
it's
they
called.
had that.
That's what it said on the menu.
And of course, compote, which is like
Fruit juice,
fruit
punch.
juice. It's
Homemade
like
fruit punch.
homemade fruit punch. And bread, of course. So this, I read a lot of mixed reviews about the tripe soup, that it's a bit sour. So it's a 50-50 if I like it. But I think we had to try the soup in Romania because that's like the thing to try. What do you think? I would.
It tastes like the Romanian version of chicken noodle soup. So I'm not sick, but hey, this will probably prevent me from getting sick.
Looks really good. But just to give you a perspective how much this costs. So the juice, 2 pieces of bread, and 2 pretty good sized bowls of soup were 50 lei, which is about $10. It looks like pozole, but it doesn't. It's not pozole. It's, ooh. Already the smell is strong. I feel like I gotta hype myself up. Wow. It's initially very good, but the aftertaste is, it's not sour like people describe, but it is bitter. So if you're expecting like a very savory soup, this is not very savory. It's a bit acidic almost at the end, but not too much. I think if I maybe had some pepper or some paprika, which they have, this will be a bit better, but it is, if you're a picky eater, don't get the soup. If you're an adventurous eater, do get the soup. As we were heading back to our apartment, we had to make one more stop at one more bakery to try one more thing. So we're not really hungry, but we were walking by and we smelled this pastry, so I'm not sure what it's called. It looked amazing. They had a lot of amazing pastries. How does it taste like?
Like a Romanian Hot Pocket, but a lot less trashy. So they have this sort of, I think it's like a cheese inside, but this pastry on the outside is so flaky and soft and warm and buttery. Delicious.
How much was that? Do you remember?
This was about just under $2 for one of these. They're actually pretty big too, so if you just wanted one of these for breakfast, you'd be more than fine.
One of my recommendations for you, if you want to get icons as souvenirs, like the religious ones, do not buy them from the souvenir stores. Get them from churches. You will find a church literally in every single corner in Bucharest, and the price of the icons inside the church is literally 1/3, and the money is going directly to the church. They have a variety of icons, different books, different languages a lot of time. So go to a church, go to a local church in Bucharest and get the icon from there.
This one has its own park. It seems like it's not just a little piece of area where there's flowers and stuff like that, but it's got its own park.
This one's probably one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, it's huge.
For this trip, we were only here for 2 full days, but we cannot wait to come back and visit outside the city, see more of the countryside, and explore more of this wonderful country.